Week 26, halfway through the year. Don't have a ton of stuff to say this week necessarily, which I think is a pretty good thing because usually I have a lot of stuff to complain about. But what I will say is I think this kind of finally marks the end of the deload as the weights start to ramp up some. I can definitely feel it because I actually was pretty beat up this week in terms of just feeling like I put in some good old-fashioned work, which is great. So started off the week with some squats for reps, so 3 sets of 8, which is about 400 pounds. And this is one of the things that I really appreciate about using these kilo plates is I don't really know what numbers I'm working with necessarily. Obviously, I know certain kilos translate certain ways, but I don't really think about the weight on the bar anymore. I just look at the work I have to do, so the sets and reps, and I just know that it's within my realm of work capacity, so I just do it. And I think if I knew what some of these translated to in terms of the poundage, unfortunately, that might kind of put me in a little bit of risk to start worrying about it or realize that it's actually fairly heavy. So the fact that I'm able to move this weight and feel pretty good about it and feel like these are all fairly light for the most part is a huge accomplishment in my book. Now, one of the days that's really been kind of working me is this second day of the week. And that's because not only am I deadlifting normally, but I'm also deadlifting sumo. So I'm doing conventional, then bench, and then back to sumo. And even though, again, these weights aren't anything overly heavy, when you combine it with the rest of the work week, it does start to add up. And especially because I haven't really pulled sumo in a couple of years. Now, for those that don't know, I actually learned the deadlift via sumo. And although I didn't deadlift a lot in my first probably 10 years of training, anytime I did deadlift, it was always sumo style. And then probably back in like 2010 or so when I started to really get more into powerlifting and strength training again, as opposed to just that bodybuilding lifestyle, that's when I made the switch to conventional just because my sumo had kind of plateaued around 400 pounds. And then when I switched to conventional, I was able to really increase my deadlift. So it's still a work in progress here. And I know my form's not great. I'm really trying to kind of just nail down what feels natural for me. So one of the things I'm doing is just setting up in a spot where my hips feel good. I can't really get as wide as I used to, and I think I just have really tight hips. You guys probably noticed that on some of my other things with bench. If you ever see me, I don't spread my legs that wide. I just don't have that hip mobility yet. But I will continue to kind of work on that. And these back off sets, even though they're not heavy on sumo, they feel pretty good so far. And even though I have a rest day on Wednesday, coming into my heavier squat session, so 5 sets of 5 here with 446 pounds, I was pretty gassed. So my lower body is definitely taking a beating. But again, I think it's going to be good in the long run because I'm getting in a lot of work for some groups that I probably haven't really utilized too much in the past. So I'm hoping this is going to really pay off as the weights start to increase. Bench has also been feeling really good. There's nothing much to say here. It's continuing to feel better and better each week, which is really great for me because it means that potentially I'll be hitting a PR this next testing cycle. And then finishing off the weeks with deadlifts as well. My top set was 2 sets of 4 at 235 or 518 pounds. Again, these felt really good. I'm really trying to make sure I get a good brace beforehand, and I think this is better because I don't see my shoulders pull down as much as I used to. So these felt good, and can't really say much more about that. Finished with a top set of 5 on bench at 130 or 287. These didn't move how I wanted it to. I had the safety set a little bit higher, and I kind of hit it on that first and second rep, and it kind of threw me off. Didn't really feel too heavy, but these definitely move slower, I think, because of it. But good week overall. Looking forward to the long holiday weekend and getting back after it next week.